Hello and welcome to episode 317 of the Smash Accept podcast. I'm your host, Michael Royer. You can find me on Twitter at DynastyDadFF. It's Tuesday night. You know what that means. We are talking trades. Today's show is going to be super fun. We're doing Dynasty Trade Special, early 2025 picks. So we had over 150 different trades sent in via the Patreon, via YouTube, via Twitter. You guys have really showed out for this podcast, knowing that you guys are super excited about the trade shows as well. I mean, if you guys don't follow us on YouTube already, hit that smash subscribe button. We are just a couple away from 3,000 followers, which is an awesome process considering, about 3 months ago, we were sitting there right around 1,000. So you guys are really helping us out. You guys are crushing it. We are going to be, for this particular show, we already got some super chats in here, so we're going to hit them. But once we get 5, we're going to give away a rookie guide plus a month of VIP, which is a $50 value. Once we hit 10, we're going to do that. Plus, Snoog and I are going to give you an $80 value. Just the three of us sit down. We'll go over your entire roster. We'll record a podcast, and we'll get you guys involved. Snoog, this time of year is just excited. I mean, I got so many different roster review talk. We got so many different rookie things going on. It's so excited right now.
Yeah, I've been trying to get trades done in all of my leagues right now because I'm starting to kind of peel off the cobwebs and open up the eyes, come out of hibernation like a bear as soon as that first spring flower blooms. So it's time. It's time for rookie drafts. It's time to start buying draft capital, and it's time to start trading. So if your leagues have been asleep for the past 2-3 months, they should wake their asses back up, and it's time to get back in business.
Yeah, Brock, I mean, this has become a staple. Guys are asking about this show. Guys that are in the Discord are like, how do I get my trades on the show? I've been just sorting through so many different ones. I love when you jump on here. I love what you've been able to do with YouTube, and really help grow that page. And I'm excited for tonight's show because we're going to talk about this rookie class after the combine. Stock is up on a lot of different players. We're starting to try to figure out who's who, and these trades are going to be exciting tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited to jump right into it. And it's funny that Snoog mentioned that. I have a couple leagues where some guys are saying that they're now returning from their vacation. They were in Cancun. March is when they start to, kind of ramp up a little bit. For the degenerates, we're still kind of in it, January, February, but for most people, this is when we really start ramping up. So it's time to take advantage of some of your league mates. It's time to get some of these trades done. It's exciting to go over these.
Hey, speaking of that, before we even start, we got a super chat right off the bat from Matt Glure. Really appreciate that. Brock, I'll let you take the trade question away but I had to get that out there. When you guys have these super chats, we throw them to the front. We want to make sure we cover those for you guys first and foremost.
Yeah, for sure. So we got a super chat here from Matt Glore. Appreciate it, Matt. So he's saying a 1 QB start 8 PPR, so very shallow. He has the 102, and he tried to trade that for McBride and some other big names, and it's not working. The 101 owner is open to working on a deal, but wants to wait till the draft. Any advice to help make a trade happen before then?
Yeah, I'm having a lot of that right now. Matt, I'm trying to trade the 102. I have one league where I have Bijan, Gibbs, Jefferson, Chase. I have the 102, 103, 104, 111, 112, and I went to the guy that has the 101 who's rebuilding, and I said, hey, man, what's it going to take? Name your price. Let's get it done. I started out with 105 plus the 111 and 112, and he said no. So I think depending on what your roster looks like there, Matt, especially with that start 8 in a single quarterback, like the difference, you want to get your studs. Like you need those studs. And I love that you went after McBride because I think he's that true difference maker. But I think 102 is still going to, you're going to get Omarion Hampton, or you're going to get something that's really nice there where I would try to move up. I think the difference for me, Snoog, right now, I would trade, if I'm a contender, I would easily trade my 26 first to move from 102 to 101.
Yeah, definitely. I would do that too, personally. But I'm starting, after that combine we just had with this running back class, I'm really at the point where it's like the first 6 to 7, 8 picks of your rookie drafts are going to be these 4 to 5 running backs. Like they're so damn good, all of them. And there's such a need for the position that that's the thing that people don't understand is the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Chargers, all these teams that need a bell cow that revolve around that bell cow running back in their offense don't have anybody. So it's the perfect situation and the perfect landscape that we have coming in. So I really think that the running backs are just going to pave a way into the top 5 to 6 to 7 of all of your rookie drafts. assuming they all go day 2, like early day 2, round 2 or better. But yeah, I love honestly just locking in Genty, especially because with the Hampton, the Judkins, all the hype you're getting from those guys.
Mhm.
And Genty didn't do anything because he didn't test. So it's like people will start to make assumptions and start to make things closer that aren't. So that's when you can kind of take advantage of that. I also like entertaining what that would look like, though. Like if I could get 102, a first, and like a second or 2 on top, I would entertain that because I think Judkins, Hampton, Henderson, like they could kind of get that gap, not close, but like we saw it with Achane and Gibbs, and then we saw it with Gibbs and Bijan. Like the gap was huge between those 3 running backs, and it got close at one point. So
Love that question. You know, he said 101 is a complete and utter dumpster fire with no assets. That's why he's shopping the 101. And that's really what you want to do there, Matt, is you want to kind of look at it. You want to when you guys make dynasty trades, you know, I can't stand the dynasty managers that are like, let me throw you a bunch of garbage that I don't want off my team. What you need to go to that guy and say, hey, I'm at the 102. I see you are in a position of need. I want Junty. You could use multiple assets. Let's figure this thing out, you know, and go out there. Because a lot of people really we help you out in the Smash Accept Patreon and the Discord on Twitter with values of players, but really when it comes to that next spot is you got to be a salesman. You got to be able to work out trades. You got to be able to buy and sell and be working with guys in your league. So I hope that answers your question, Brock. I'm going to turn it over to you, big guy. Here we go. So that's one super chat in. We get 4 more. We'll give away a rookie guide and a free month of Patreon. If we get 9 more at any price, we're going to give you guys not only that, but we're going to give away one where we sit down, Brock or Snoog, myself, and you sit down for 45 minutes and discuss whatever you want to do. You know, your roster, we'll break it all down for you. We'll get your teams ready to smash.
All right, let's jump right into it, guys. So trade number 1 here coming from Donut T. Shaleski over there on Twitter. We got one side with Saquon Barkley and the other side with the 105. He did mention this is a super flex like most leagues we cover, but Saquon or the 105. He just got paid, got about 20 mil a year. I'll kick this one over to you, Snoog.
yeah, I'm smashing Saquon Barkley here. And Dad, I think that's a bust out the cowbell thing. We just saw the 2-year extension worth $41 million up to. He is, I don't even care if he's 28 years old. I don't care about the data that the running back with this many touches falls out. Like things change. For the longest time, 27 years old was the shelf for running backs. And we've seen like 12 running backs in the past 2 years be elite past that. So I don't care. I'm taking him over the 105. I'd take him over probably the 103-ish. He's around that range for me.
And in the Discord, I have him ranked as the value of the 102. He goes in that same area as that 2-3 turn where you're talking about him, Drake London, Jackson Smith, and Jigba, you know, Jordan Love. And I think Saquon Barkley is going to age out well. He looked fantastic this year. I think I'm absolutely smashing that. And I think a lot of these early trades, we just want to tell you about what guys are worth because we're starting to see rookie hype. And you're talking about, I mean, if it's, I'm taking Saquon, I'm taking Junty, then Saquon, and then whoever the 102 is, if you're a contender, I mean, you know, unless Omarion Hampton or Travion Henderson go to the right spot, the 105 here, you're getting the RB4 of this class or RB3 of this class, as opposed to the best running back in football, period.
Yeah, good trade there, Donut T. Shaleski. So moving on here to trade number 2 from Jackson Ryan over from the Patreon. We got one side with Garrett Wilson and the other side with the 102. So, Dad, I know you just named some running backs, maybe potentially worth the 102, where that would be in startup value. Where's Garrett Wilson for you at right now? He kind of had a lot of hype going into 2 years ago and then even last year. And now Rodgers is gone. Adams just got released. Where are we kind of at with Garrett Wilson, and which side would you prefer here?
So here's the tricky part with this particular question is Garrett Wilson is better than any wide receiver in this class. Unless we see Travis Hunter go, you know, in the top 3 and he's wide receiver only, Garrett Wilson is better than anybody in this class. I do think Garrett Wilson right now I have currently ranked as the 103 because in my current Superflex rankings, I think Tet McMillan is my 103. I'm taking Hampton if he goes early, or I'm taking Ward if they trade up and the Giants get that first pick. So I technically have Garrett Wilson worth the 103. But if we don't see that scenario, right, if Hampton doesn't go to the Cowboys or somewhere in the top in the first round and we don't see Cam Ward go number 1 overall, then I think I'd trade for Garrett Wilson. But I think you can get Garrett Wilson cheaper. As much as I love Garrett Wilson, that was kind of what we talked about in this particular trade is, get another trade up where you can get maybe Garrett Wilson in the 110 for the 102 and the 202. You get something in that area where you move up a little bit, or you get something that's the equivalent of a late second in difference.
Yeah, I agree with what Dad said here. And I think even if Amari and Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, Travion Henderson, if one of them sneaks in round 1, would that do it for you, Dad? What would do it for, let's say the Vikings took Judkins in round 1 or Hampton in round 1. Would you value that player over Garrett Wilson? I think I think they would instantly be a top 5. I think they would instantly be RB4 in Dynasty behind Genty and behind Gibbs and Bijan. If one of those two or Henderson go round 1, they're the RB4 in Dynasty. They're ahead of Brees. They're ahead of. They'd probably be in the same tier with Saquon and Brees, but I think they'd be above them.
I think the interesting part there is I'm still going to prefer. I always want to build my team around young wide receivers.
Yeah.
Devontae Adams got cut today. Aaron Krusty Rogers is gone. If we get ourselves a good quarterback, we have an awesome situation. Guys, super chats are flying in right now. I'm going to cover some of these. First one, go ahead and take it over, Brock. And then we got another one here that we got to jump on.
Yeah, we got a super chat here from Pierce. Appreciate it, Pierce. So he said, Team 1, Puka, Tracy, the 207, and a 26 second. Other side is Ladd, Jalen McMillan, the 105, and the 309. So we got a little 4 for 4. Last stream, if you guys were here last Tuesday, we touched on a little bit about Tyrone Tracy, a little bit about his value. I'll kick this one over to you, Dad. How do you see maybe Puka versus Ladd? And the other side's got that first, so it kind of closes that gap. What do you think?
This is a tough one. I mean, this is really tough because I'm taking the 309 out of this, so don't even worry about that. I have Puka considerably higher than Ladd McConkey. So, I mean, if I'm trading Puka, I almost look at Puka and Tracy being the equivalent of McConkey in the 105. Or maybe, this is tough. This one is tough because I mean, ultimately, I want to get rid of Tracy and I want to buy Puka. So the tricky part for me is I almost lean side 2 to see what I can do with this trade. Is then I get a foundational wide receiver in Ladd McConkey. I flip McMillan. I take the 105. I get my running back who's much better than Tracy. I'm actually leaning team 2 here as much as I want Puka Nacua.
Yeah, I would lean team 2. I would actually be very comfortably on the team 2 side just because I know I can turn Ladd McConkey into Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., maybe even JSN, and maybe add McMillan to get one of those guys in there. And then it's the 105 to me, which I'm getting one of my elite running backs in this class. Your Judkins, your Hampton, your Henderson. Even if Johnson goes to the Cowboys or something like that, or I'm getting a Tet McMillan, maybe a Mecca Buka if he goes to the Texans, somewhere like that. I love those type of trades where I can get another stud and another stud for a stud. And I really have confidence in my drafting with rookies and turning those draft picks into better players through trade. So I'm confident enough that I can turn that other asset into a stud as well.
Yeah, I would love to take McConkey, McMillan, and an early second and get Puka. But in this particular one, that 105 really sells it for me, and that kind of pushes it over the top. I love that question, Pierce.
Yep, and we got a next one here coming from Prism. Appreciate the super chat, Prism, and that's 3 out of 5 for the free rookie guide and the free month of Patreon. So we're almost there. Prism says he has Lamar in the 208 versus Purdy, DJ Moore, the 108, and the 210. So it's super flex, tight end premium, start 11. Did he overpay? So he got Lamar in the 208 and he traded away Purdy, DJ Moore, the 108, and the 210. So you kind of making some reactions over there, Snoog. I'll kick it to you first, and then we'll touch over to Dad.
I don't think that he overpaid. I kind of like it for Lamar if I have the assets, but I also don't mind getting Purdy a first and DJ Moore. I'm big on DJ Moore this year as a top 15, top 20 finisher, and he's young still with Ben Johnson. And Purdy's about to get a monstrous contract, and he's a really high-end, a top 10 quarterback finisher for the next few years. But I don't know. It depends on context with this team. Like if I have the assets to do this and I still have a good depth team and it doesn't hurt me, then I would take Lamar. But if it's like I need to break a guy down and this is what I could get, I think you could probably drop the 208 and just get the 4 assets for him straight up, but not a bad trade.
So I'm looking at this. I see that it's a 10 team. So, I mean, you ultimately want to get as many studs as possible. I'm thinking here in this situation, I want Lamar. I think unless you are really starting to tear it down, and if you're buying Lamar, you know you're not tearing it down. You're going all in. You know, Prism, I'm going to give you the cowbell on that one because for me, Lamar Jackson is a complete and utter difference maker. Cancel out the 210 and the 208 because that's going to be a similar type tier. Purdy, DJ Moore, the 108, solid assets, but Lamar's going to win you championships. So I do not think you overpaid for that one. I'm with you. But if you're rebuilding or if you're building out and you're lacking depth in a start 11, I don't think you are wrong for the other side. You know, it's not a bad trade. Love it. We had the 101, the Garrett Wilson versus the 102. Jackson Ryan goes, hey, let's go. I love it. I love when we're answering questions from guys in the Discord. We have special sections, VIP sections where guys post these and we try to get as many of them out there as possible because there's so much demand right now. We have so many guys just trying to get in here with the super chats. So many guys just messaging us on YouTube, messaging in the Discord, on Twitter. So we appreciate this and we love all the different support that you guys give us.
All right. Moving here over to trade number 3 from Chris Callahan over on Twitter. This one's a fun one. We got Rome Odunze, the 103 and the 107, or Justin Jefferson. You're tearing down quite a few tiers, but man, 2 top 7 picks. Snoog, what do you think on this one?
Give me Rome side. I like it. That's enough to knock my socks off where I'm confident enough in my rookie process and my rankings and with who I would draft and what I would do in the rookie draft that I could turn that at least into 2 elite running backs and Rome Odunze or an elite, maybe Cam Ward, Ted McMillan type player as well. So give me that.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you know it's a big deal when they knock their socks off. The only other person that knocks Snoog socks off all the time, it's not his girlfriend. She commented, I think Snoog loves Judkins more than he loves his girlfriend. And, you know, a lot of people think I'm his dad, and he loves him. He loves Judkins more than he loves his dad too. So, you know, Snoog when he gets
she did a super chat too.
What?
She did a super chat for us.
She wants to. Oh, yo, there we go. There we go. We'll pop it up there.
The 4th
Megan
one.
She's trying to get that free rookie guide. Snoog will not give her one for free. She's got to pay up. So let's try to get one of those there.
She helped me get the data. She was reading it off for me.
I love it. 1 more, and we will be giving away that draft guide. 6 more, and we will be doing the rookie draft guide, a month of VIP Patreon, and you get entered to be a 1-on-1 or 2-on-1. You know, you get a little bit of a dynasty trade threesome here with Snoog and I. So here we go. Let's go on to trade 4.
All right. This one's coming from Boone Riddle over from Twitter. And we got one side with the 106, an early 26 first, and his 26 first. So I think that's important here. He'd be trading it back to him, assuming this guy's looking to rebuild, tank, something along those lines. Or Jahmyr Gibbs. So he's a contender. He can trade 3 firsts, including the 106, an early first next year, and this own guy's 26 first for Jahmyr Gibbs. Is that a little too much, Dad? Does his first kind of going back to him play a part in this, assuming he's trying to look to get rid of some assets? What do you think?
So here's the deal is like I was helping him with this one and I'm looking at his team. The only thing he really needs is a tight end. He has running back depth. He has wide receiver depth. He's got extra picks. So I am actually selling Jahmyr Gibbs in this particular situation. Now I did go back to him and I said, let's go and let's get Alvin Kamara yet. Let's go get Joe Mixon thrown in there. So we're still negotiating this one. What I'm looking at is you have an early 26 first. You take your 26 first and you buy George Kittle because it's going to be a late one. Then you have the 106 and you're going to get Quinshon Judkins. You're going to get Caleb Johnson. You're going to get something in there that's going to give you another opportunity. What I told him there, though, is I really want to get added on. I want to make sure I get a Kamara, a Mixon, something in that area. Ed Mayer just jumped in for the 5th super chat. I love it. I love it. This is one from the Discord. So I go ahead, we hit on that one. This one's fun, Brock.
All right. Appreciate the super chat here, Ed. He said he's given up the 107, Ricky Pearsal, and Rico Dowdle, but he's getting back the 102 and Blake Corum. Snoog, I'll toss this one over to you here. Would you trade the 107 Ricky and Dowdle for the 102 and Blake Corum?
I'm smashing the 102 side here 10 times out of 10. Yeah, that's a cowbell type trade, in my opinion.
That's an
people
absolute
keep saying
smash.
how there's not. People keep saying, right, how there's a big tier of guys, which there is right now, but all it takes is one of those guys. I keep saying it, but a Hampton, a Judkins, a Henderson to sneak in around one, or go to the Cowboys, or Ted McMillan to go to the Panthers, the Patriots, one of those spots at the top, or Cam Ward goes to the Raiders or the Giants. Like, there is going to be probably a few scenarios where nobody knows who the 102 is, but the 102, 103, 104, 105 are going to be a lot better than the 106. It's just how it's going to work. It happens every year. And I think this one's going to be like that.
This is something that, I think the stock is up post Debo trade. The stock is up on Pearsal absolutely through the roof right now. I would cash in on that everywhere I can. I have been trying to just upgrade picks, and this 107 to 102, Rico Dowdle has next to no value anymore. They're going to replace him. Blake Corum gives you a nice insurance running back, getting that thrown in the back end of the deal, because the original deal was 107 Pearsal for 102. So you're getting a little bit of extra in there, Ed. I love this trade. I love all the support in the Discord. I know this was in the chat with Dad section, so I love to see that translate onto the show. Thank you for the super chat. They just keep cranking in. So that's 5 of them already. Let's move on to our next trade here. And that one, Snoog, I mean, with the Gibbs trade, I'm not saying do this. You don't have to do this, right? If this is the 103, I'm smashing it. I'm not even debating it. The 106, I'm like, all right, this has potential if you're going to go ahead and you're in a start 11, or you're in a 12-team start 11 like this is.
Yeah.
You're building out, right? So you have, if Gibbs goes down, all right, you got nothing there right now. You're going to have to trade Gibbs when he depreciates. But now you're looking at 106 early, 26 first, your own 26 first. There's a lot of insulation there to get some real talent. And I'm not saying you have to do it, because this is similar to what we talked about with the Junty deal. But that early 26 first, if it is truly early, is the separator.
Yeah, I never like to trade Jahmyr Gibbs, but if I can get, again, a Judkins, a Hampton, a Henderson, and 2 firsts on top for Gibbs, sign me up. I love it. I think that's a roster changing move that you can make in this class.
Yeah, that's a hard one
Brock,
to turn down.
We
got Prism
number
back.
6.
We got Prism back, so 4 left, and not only the rookie guide, not only the free month of the Patreon VIP, also the roster review with Snoog and Dad. Just 4 super chats away from that. Love to see it. So Prism here says he's got one side with Judy, the 110, and a second next year. Other side with Pickens and a couple, we'll call them disappointing rookies, and Keon Coleman and Xavier Legette. So I'll kick this one over to you, Dad. A little 3 for 3 here. Which side do we like?
I'm going to reset the clock with the 110 side. Right now, Coleman's a disappointment. Legette's a disappointment. Pickens is a disappointment. I think Judy is about to get himself a quarterback upgrade. I mean, let's be honest, he is going to get himself a quarterback upgrade. The 110 I just did in my new, it's March. So we got the Dynasty Dad buys just dropped today. So make sure you guys check that out on Twitter. If you guys are not on Twitter, a lot of you guys have been emailing me. You're like, hey, put stuff on Twitter, but I don't have Twitter. So it's like, put it in the comments, comment along, hit the like button, and then I had 3 different guys ask for roster reviews today in my DMs and then I was like, yo, here's an email address. Let's get it done. But for me, 110 and Pickens are very even now. So I want to reset the clock at 110. I think I'm going to get something really nice. I prefer Judy over either of those other guys. And then, I prefer Judy over Coleman. I prefer the 26 second over Legette. I think this is a 3-way win for me.
Yep. Me too. Reset the clock again. And Judy's probably the best wide receiver in this trade, right? For dynasty value right now. I like Pickens better as a player. I think Pickens can be better, but anything with Arthur Smith included or Ramhigh, just keep me far away. Unless it's a running back.
Snoog, that's important, like resetting the clock. I don't think people understand that is George Pickens has to put up, let's say the guy at 110, let's say that's Ibuka or Burden, right? And they put up 800 yards. In order to match the rookie value of those players, George Pickens is going to have to put up 1,500. Like, just because he's had 2 disappointing seasons in a row. And Brock, I know you love George Pickens in Pittsburgh, but like,
well, I'm a Steelers fan. I don't necessarily love Pickens.
But the stock is down to a point where people are disappointed, right? And in order to fix that disappointment, he's got to do something electric to match what the 110 is going to be. Because as soon as a rookie, we've seen guys, I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba had a mediocre rookie season, but his value didn't go anywhere. You know, and CeeDee Lamb had a mediocre rookie season.
Yeah.
Whoever's at that 110, he doesn't even have to ball out. He just has to play good enough to maintain value. So
I remember on the show last year, we talked about resetting the clock with JSN and turning him into Brian Thomas Jr., Lad McConkey, and Xavier Worthy plus. And if you did that, you're in luck. So that's it. And then we were telling everybody to buy JSN right before the season started because Tyler Lockett was supposed to leave and didn't, and he was healthy. DK was supposed to leave and got a contract extension. And then everything started to look like it was just going to be another muddled year for JSN. And we were getting him in the 5th, 6th, 7th round of redrafts. And he was just an absolute banger value for the talent that he is. And he blew up. So you can think someone's a sell and then buy back a couple months later. Like we did it with Roma Dunze. We talked about resetting the clock and moving him into tearing up. And now we're saying he's a buy again because Ben Johnson came to town. So that's just what this process looks like, and we keep
very
it
fluid, very fluid. Yep.
Yeah.
So moving on here to trade number 5, coming from Mark and Rachel over from Patreon. So we got one side with JJ and the 101, and the other side with Kyler, Jacobs, and the 201. Kick this one over to you here, Dad.
Oh, smash the 101. Not even debating it. You know, and I think a year ago you would have been like, not even close. But I looked at this. JJ McCarthy's value is going, I mean, Sam Darnold is going to get signed and traded. It's going to happen. He's going to go to the Raiders. He's going to go somewhere, and JJ McCarthy is going to be the starter. JJ McCarthy would be the QB1 in this class. So for me, this is like McCarthy's value hasn't matched that same thing. If Cam Ward's going 103, then JJ McCarthy should be worth something like that. But right now he's still worth like the 108. So McCarthy and Jacobs, I'm going to wash that out. But I would totally rather have the 101 over Kyler and the 201. I think Kyler bounces back, but not enough for me to sell Ashton Junty.
Yeah, same for me. I'm taking the 101 here. Yeah, the way I'm looking at this trade is I'm comfortably taking the 101 over Kyler, and I'd say that Jacobs and 201 is pretty on par with McCarthy. I'm not a big McCarthy guy. I was, and then when he completely wrecked his knee and just we know the whole situation with how I feel about him, but I just think that he's going to be like a high-end game manager, if that. But like, are we sure that 6 quarterbacks from this class are all going to be good? Like, no one talks about that. Like, that's never happened. We've gotten 5 from 2020, and is Tua even good? Like, that's what I'm saying. So it's kind of weird. I don't like that he missed a ton of time, but anybody that's a starting Vikings quarterback, you're gaining value. You're going to be probably putting up 4,000 yards passing, but that's how I feel about that. Take JJ McCarthy's side and then trade him.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brock, we are 6 super chats in. We need 4 more to move to the next spot. We're real close. Go ahead. We got Michael Crawford's deal. We are probably not going to get to all the different comments that we have over here along the side. So if you guys want that, you're going to have to jump in. Brock, take it away.
All right. Next trade coming from Michael Crawford over on Twitter. We got another one that's kind of giving me the same vibes as that Roman 2 first for Jefferson one. We got Demont and the 104 and 106 for Bijan. 2 top 6 picks and a guy you could still probably plug and play at an RB2 for Bijan. Top dog, maybe RB1 or RB2. Kick this one over to you, Snoog. Would you tear down, take the couple firsts, get those 2 rookies, get a Hampton, get a Judkins maybe, or you think you just stick with the stud here?
This would need to be a trade that I would make on draft day when the rookie draft's rolling with landing spots with draft.
Yeah.
I would need to see Hampton, Henderson, and Judkins and Caleb Johnson and Emeka Egbuka and Ted McMillan. I need to see that group of guys, where they went, what draft capital they got. Because if like Hampton went round 1 and Judkins went round 2 to the Cowboys and Hampton went to the Vikings in round 1, sign me up. I'd smash, because I think I can flip Demont for the 112 or like a 202 type trade. And then I could turn that into a Kamara or someone that I like better than a David Montgomery. And I think that would be a trade that we could build out the roster and still contend with. But right now, face value, I'd take Bijan Robinson.
See, I'm personally on this one here. I would actually go with the 104 side, because what I'm looking at is I have David Montgomery to put up some RB2 type numbers. I get the 104, which in this class, the 104 is going to be your RB3. And in this class, it's going to be Travion Henderson or Marion Hampton. I love that pick there. And then I'm taking the 106 and I'm turning it into a 27 first and another player. Like the running back position, I'm trying to insulate as much as possible wherever I can. And when we talk about insulation is, you're taking a position. I love Bijan Robinson. So again, if you're an all-in contender, I have no problem with this trade. I don't think I'm making this trade now because I don't think I have to make this type of trade because like Snoog said, 104 and 106 could be Hampton and Judkins. Like you could literally rebuild your entire running back room for the next 5 years, where Bijan Robinson is an elite guy. If this was on the other side, Jamar Chase, now we're talking about. Now I want a wide receiver, Malik Neighbors, a wide receiver I'm going to build around for the next decade. But Bijan Robinson as a running back, I'm not paying this for any running back right now. I've been burnt so many times paying up for the running back. Unless it's the last piece of the puzzle, I'm not doing it yet. We did have a super chat there. I didn't mean to get that one off the screen there. Spock, live long and prosper. Let's go.
Yep. So that's super chat number 7, I believe. So 3 more until we hit that total of 10 for the roster review from Snoog and Dad. So we got one side with the 101 and the other side with the 103 and the 105. 12-team super flex. He said he's stacked team, and at running back, all he has is Mixon and Connor. I know a couple weeks ago, Snoog, the value for around that range was like, hey, you need the 102 or 103 plus a decently early first, maybe a mid one to move up. Now you've seen a combine. Some of these RBs are kind of gaining value. Would you take the 103 and the 105? Get yourself Judkins and an Igbuka for Jinty? What do you think you're doing here?
If you could guarantee me 2 of the guys that I've been talking about on this show a lot is that Judkins, Ted McMillan, Hampton, Henderson, and maybe
that's the next 4 players after the 101. That's 5 players right there.
If you throw in Ted McMillan, it's already done.
I almost like doing it because if I could get Judkins, Henderson, or Hampton, 2 of those guys, and stack those with Mixon and Connor, like I think our running back situation would be perfect for the next 5 years.
That's the problem, right? It's Mixon and Connor.
Yeah.
So you don't need Junty right now. You need 2 guys. So because both these guys you're going to replace soon. You have the production to wait. Even if you get at 103, you're going to get Hampton or Henderson, period, right? So that's your guy that's going to be your replacement for Junty. Now at 105, if your running back falls, let's do it. If not, move back to 108, get Caleb Johnson, get an additional 26 first. There's so much more to play with here on this 103, 105 side that I did not anticipate. But the way that the combine went, the way that the running back stock went for Quinshawn Judkins, for Amarion Hampton, like you and Travion Henderson, all 3 of those guys could also go first round, not just Junty. So I think the gap has closed a little bit for the difference between the 103 and the 101 for me. So this is a fun one, Spock. Like I think send over your roster, whether it's on YouTube or Twitter, we'll take a closer look at it. That way we can give you a little bit better advice. When we do these trades, we're taking them at face value. But when we see the entire roster, and that's what most people love about the Discord is they'll send you a trade, right? And they're like, would you take this 103 and 105 for the 101? And then they'll send your roster and you're like, oh, this is why I would, or this is why I wouldn't. Because Snoog and I put ourselves in your shoes every single time.
All right. Next trade coming from Mark Fisher, a.k.a. we got the Big Fish Dog over from Patreon. So we got one side with Chris Olave, DJ Moore, the 110, and a 27 first. Wow. Other side with Nico, Pickens, Trey Benson, and the 27 second. So I'll kick this one over to you, Snoog. I'm either going crazy or this is absolute fleece.
Yeah, I'm taking the Olave side by a mile. Like, not even close. Benson, if you own Trey Benson, he's a guy that I'm re-rolling on. Like, I feel like he was just a bad running back, hyped up in a bad running back class. Not that he can't. Any running back that's given a starting job can be fantasy relevant, right? Like, they could all be good. I just don't think he's gonna. James Conner just got an extension. He's really good. like trade him first of all, but you're getting Olave. I think Olave's a great buy low. And Brock, I know he was one of the guys that you were actually low on, and you called that before the season. Like, I don't want to own Chris Olave. I think he's super overhyped. I know he got hurt, but before the injury, it wasn't looking like it was working out either way for him. But I do think he's a really high-end buy low right now that can give you top 12 upside. And then DJ Moore and 2 firsts for Nico and Pickens. It's not even close.
So what you guys are missing here is, and they make fun of me for it in the Discord all the time, this is the hashtag Dynasty Dad approved 1-2 flop. So he got that trade in. I said, yeah, well, let's try the 1-2 flop yet. You know, we talk about give her your 27 second, get their 27 first, and have an opportunity to get even more on that side. No pun
That's
intended.
crazy.
With the more.
I would have done it probably without that swap in it, and he got that on top.
That's the Dynasty Dad, the Dynasty Dad special right there.
Every time there's a trade that's close, I just said, hey, let's do a flop. Ed from the Discord, we're up to 8 now. Here we go.
All right, Ed back again. Appreciate it, Ed. He says he was sent an offer of the 201 and the 402 for Diggs and David Montgomery, and he declined it. He lost the championship last year, but he feels like the best case, even if he moves off of Dig and Monty, is to get maybe a Cam Scatabo.
Call me crazy. Mm-hmm. Call me crazy. I don't even think Cam Scatabo is going to be the 201. I think it's going to be.
No, he's going to be like 203.
He's going to be like 202, 203. I think it's going to be because if you really hash out the big 13 guys, 201 would give you like Shedeur Sanders, Travis Hunter, Colson Loveland, maybe the 5th running back, like Caleb Johnson or one of the running backs gets a bad landing spot or slips to round 3 and falls all the way down. Or you get, like Loveland or even Matthew Golden. Or if Golden goes round 1, like that 201's looking real good right now because I guarantee you a lot of people in your rookie drafts are going to mess up that 111, 112 pick. If like a random wide receiver goes super high and they like the landing spot to the Chiefs, like they'll take them at that 112 and then boom, you land a stud at 201. Mm-hmm. So
I right now have David Montgomery worth the 203 and I have Diggs worth the 212. Now the difficult part with this trade is the 201 last year, you were getting Bo Nix at this spot. Now he's worth considerably more. Like I think on draft day, the 201 is going to be worth more. After the draft is over, I do want David Montgomery. I think as a contender, I see what you're saying, but I personally, if you could get that 4th into a 3rd or even into a running back, insurance running back to get thrown in there or a guy that's going to give you some depth, I think I would actually take the 201 side, because I don't think Diggs is going to give you as much upside as you want right off the bat.
Yep. I agree.
All right. And I believe that is 8 super chats, if I'm correct there, Dad. Mm-hmm. So 2 away.
Yep, 2 more.
Not only the rookie guide, not only the VIP Patreon, but also was it 45-minute roster review with Snoog and Dad going in.
Also, the more super chats you do, your name gets put on the wheel twice. So like Ed, you're on twice. Prism, you're on twice right now. So it's better odds. Just saying.
All right. Next trade coming from Mason Parker over from Patreon. Appreciate it, Mason. He says he's got 1 trade with Maye. Wow. The 106 and 107.
I heard it.
Other side with Daniels. Kick out the 4th. Yeah. Maye and 2 firsts for JD.
We discussed through this one, and it was like originally he said, I can get Maye and the 106 for Daniels. I was like, nope, Daniels has this much value. You get that 27 first thrown in. The Patriots are doing everything they can. They're still back trying to buy A.J. Brown. I read that from Matthew Berry today. They are trying to get him weapons. They're trying to get him offensive linemen. I mean, Drake Maye, your value gap here should be the one. It will be more like that 106 by midseason, I believe. And Daniels don't undersell Daniels. That's the key to the thing, right? Like a lot of people are saying, well, would you do Kyler in the 106 or would you do this? No, just whatever it is, add 20% because this is Josh Allen with what you've had this last several years. Keep Trade Cut has him as the 101 overall. I don't doubt that.
Wow.
I still have Allen and Lamar there, but he's definitely in that top 3. But this kind of haul, man, you can't turn that down.
Yeah, Dad, you mentioned a 1-2 flop. I didn't know 1-4 flops existed.
Well, I mean, this is market value here because that's 4 firsts. And that's where Daniels, Lamar, and Josh Allen are worth 4 firsts. But when you talk about Maye, those are earlier firsts. So he's worth 2 firsts. The 106 is middle. Like you're looking at the equivalent here of 4 middle firsts for Daniels, not 4 random, in my opinion.
People I posted this on Twitter, turning Daniels into Maye or Caleb Williams plus first and seconds. And some people loved it and did it and capitalized on it. And some people were like, no way you could get this done. Like, this is not happening. No league's going to do this. If you're in a startup and you had the first, second, or third pick and someone offered you a mid to late or early third round startup pick and they're 26 first and 27 first, you would not take it. I know for sure you wouldn't, because I see people get 2 3s and 6s or 2 3s and 5s for the first, second, or third overall startup picks. I promise you that this is a trade that you can get done in most leagues, but right now, when your teams are already drafted, it's probably not as likely you're going to get a good haul like this. But if there's a team that's stacked and has Daniels, Josh Allen, and Brock Purdy and doesn't want all this value into their quarterbacks and wants to build out, maybe they have weak running backs or a wide out spot that needs to be fixed, they would do a trade like this all day.
Yeah, and it's all about insulation. Last year in the rookie draft, I was telling everybody, Caleb, you trade him back for Daniels plus a first. You were getting that. Now all of a sudden you can go by the opposite way. And now with Maye, whenever you can insulate at a quarterback or a running back position to get someone that you truly believe in, you do it. You get that extra insulation, and it's a 2-for-1. So here we go. Thick and chicken.
All right, we got trade number 9 here from Thick and Chucker over from Twitter. So we got one side with Josh Allen and T. Higgins, and the other side with the 103, 107, and 2 first next year. He's saying there's 1 early and 1 late. So you're saying Josh Allen's worth 4 firsts. There's 4 firsts on that side. As easy as just saying you're getting a free T. Higgins, or how would you break this one down, Dad?
Pretty close, because I have T. Higgins right now. I have worth the 104 to 105. So for me, this is Josh Allen to T. Higgins really easily. If this was 227 early firsts, like then we're starting to talk there, but you're not getting a quarterback. I mean, if you draft Cam Ward at the 103, the 107, you get, Tyler Warren,
Puka.
and then you get 2 firsts, you lost bad. Like selling Josh Allen is one of these guys has to be. Now, if you replace the 107 with a quarterback, if you replace, you get another quarterback in there that you're going to get, but this is a smash accept. You stick with the proven asset at quarterback
all day.
Good one there, Fick and Chucker, and a cool name to say. So next trade number 10 from Rembutan over from Twitter. So we got Bijan, Debo. He got moved this past weekend since we were on last Tuesday. The 102 and a 27-2. Other side with Jordan Love, Rome Odunze, Derrick Henry, a 26 first, a 27 first, and the 408. So give us a second just to kind of review this one again. We got the 102 with Bijan and Debo and a 2. Love, Rome, Henry, and a couple firsts. Snoog, I see you nodding over there. Looks like you digested it. What do we think?
Yeah, I'm smashing the Jordan Love side here. Because to me, I'm thinking.
You worried me.
I'm
You're
looking.
playing with the goatee again, so we don't know.
That's his mysterious look.
there's just way too much to dissect here. But like I started putting the pieces together, and the math wasn't mathing for me. I'm taking like Jordan Love and Derrick Henry over Bijan, or Jordan Love and Rome over Bijan, and then Debo in the 102 for Rome or Henry, and 2 for the math ain't mathing. Give me the Jordan Love.
Yeah, it's
side.
like
unless it's 1 QB. Then I would take Bijan.
Everything's super flex on this show. Love is worth the 103, so the 102 is not far off, but then you look at Debo is not worth a first, like even if you say Debo and Henry wash out, which they don't, but then you're saying you would get Rome a 26 first and a 27 first for Bijan. I'm doing that all day long. So that's a smash. And then I always love these trades when you get the 408 thrown in, like, what is that doing here? Like, what? Yeah. He's like, hold on, we got a deal here. If you throw in 408, like that one that's always a sweetener.
Trade number 11 here coming from John Dillon over on Twitter. So we got one side with, I believe I was saying this wrong, Rashee Rice,
boom,
Kenneth Walker, and the 110, and the other side with the 102, the 108, and the 312. Dad, I know you have some conviction about Rashee. Him, Kenneth, and the 110. Other side with a couple firsts. We can kind of kick away the 312. What do we think on this one?
I have Walker pretty close to the 108. I think I prefer Walker over the 108. I think then you're looking at the Rashee Rice, who I have at the 104 plus a 110, or the 102. And I'm taking Rice. I think
Same.
this is getting along the right lines, but I don't think that 110 belongs there. I feel like that's almost a free 110 for me. So
Yeah.
John, I am smashing the Rice side.
Good one
Me
there,
too.
John. So next one coming from, I like this, Just Incredible from the Patreon. We got one side, all picks. These trades where it's
I
all
love it.
picks are fun. So we got one side with the 107, the 203, and the 204. The other side with the 102 and a 26 second. So it looks like he's sitting at 107, tax on a couple seconds to move up for the 102, and you're getting a 26 second back, Snoog. Which side do we think here?
It's funny because it actually feels like the type of class that the seconds are going to be very, very valuable, especially in that early range, because running backs are such a predictable position. They get good draft capital and they get starting jobs. They're going to be decent unless they get hurt or something happens, but they're typically going to be decent. It's just them getting the opportunity, which is tough sometimes, but usually draft capital can predict that. I'm going to take the 102 side here, but if it's a 14 team league or like a 12 team league, start 3 flex and 3 wide, like you start 11 or 12 and you wanted to do something like this, I wouldn't fault you because I do think you're looking at a Puka, one of the big 5 running backs, Tyler Warren, and then you're going to get 203 and 204, which is probably Cam Scatabo, Jackson Dart, I don't know, Devin Neal, Matthew Golden, like some of those guys. I really I don't mind that, actually. I really don't.
In a 14 team, I am going to fault you because then that becomes the 17th and 18th pick instead of, we're so used to those 212s. That almost that falls outside that range of those guys that we run. I'm smashing the 102 here. I think that's a good spot. Super chat number 9 from Roma.
All right, guys, we are now one away, not only for the rookie guide and for the free month of the Patreon, but also the 2-on-1 with Dad and Snoog for the roster review. So we got a super chat here from Roma. Appreciate it, Roma. He says, "What's up, guys? Just traded Pickens and Charbonnet for Marv. The Marv owner has Kenneth Walker, so he wanted his handcuff. His wide receiver room is now Nico, Marv, Ladd, and Rome with 4 of the first 7 picks. So it looks like his team is absolutely loaded. And back to the trade, absolute cowbell.
He knew it was coming, man. He knew it.
That's
a great trade, Roma. We've been talking.
Manage that. We just got. We've
been talking about buying him. We've been talking about buying him all time. Spock is back. We got our 10th one there. Let's go.
All right, Spock is back.
We'll get that at the end.
Spock is back, and we got some context here. So he says the 103 and the 105 or the 101.
I already asked this.
Is this just giving his team the context? Hey, maybe he wants another chance. Maybe he wants another chance at the roster review.
Exactly.
But seeing the team now, half-point tight end premium, does this make a difference? Seeing his RB room, it's kind of what we thought it was, Mixon and Connor.
Mm-hmm. I love
still taking the 103, 105 side.
I really like Genty with this type of roster with a lot of these cornerstones already, but I still think we're getting 2 cornerstone potential assets in Hampton, Henderson, and Judkins, or even Ted McMillan. I really think we're going to get 2 of them.
Snoog, I mean, I'm looking at this. I mean, you got 3 stud quarterbacks, and then McCarthy. You got 2 foundational wide receivers. At this spot, I'm getting Hampton at the 3, and I'm going to take my wide receiver 1 at the 105. You got the 2 best tight ends. I mean, kudos to you. Like, this roster is sexy. It is so good. Like, I understand the allure for going to Junty, but I still want that 103, 105, and that's really where I'm at. Hopefully you win the roster review, and we'll break that one down a little bit more. I know Snoog's starting to load up that wheel. Just because we hit 10 does not mean we are done. We're going to go the full hour here. So if more people want in, that we can definitely do that. This has been a fun show. Like, we're trying to stick to the script, but guys are jumping in like crazy. Guys are messaging me all over the place. My DMs are going wild, but hey, this is what we're here for, man. This time of year, we love this kind of passion. This is the kind of passion that we have in the Discord all the time. Guys talking shop 24/7, just like my man Cameron Mayers here.
All right, we got a next trade coming from Cam Mayers over at Patreon. So we got the 102, the 108, and the 105, or BTJ and the 201. Snoog, what do we think on this one?
I'm going to lean BTJ here, but I don't think people want to hear that. No one wants to hear that rookie picks are going to be more valuable than players that just had really good years, but it happens every single year, year after year. Again, all it takes is that running back to go in the first round that's not named Ashton Genty to have him be better than Brian Thomas Jr. or Ted McMillan to the Patriots or Panthers. But I think for face value, I don't know. I'm taking 102 here. I really am. I'm taking the 102 here, and I'm not thinking twice about it.
I am taking Brian Thomas Jr. And the reason why, that's fine. Because we don't have a Brian Thomas Jr. in this class, period. I think the gap between no, we don't. We just don't.
Was Brian Thomas Jr. valued like that, though? No one thought Brian Thomas Jr. was as good as he is now.
Brian, but it's not a flash in the pan. There's no one that has the same ceiling as Brian Thomas Jr. in this class. Like, I don't think anybody. There's, I mean, no, I know what you're saying, but like the next part is the 108 to 201 could be pretty close. Like, I think you could maybe get that. That's if you're talking tight ends, that's Warren versus Colston or Loveland. If we're talking wide receivers, we're talking, that's where Ibuka or Burden versus Golden. Like I think running backs, you're talking right there at the 108. You're talking maybe you get Caleb Johnson, but at the 201, you're going to get Cam Scatterbo. So I don't think that difference is as big. So then to me, I have BTJ worth the 101. And now would you pay the 205 and 102 for 101? I sure as hell would. And that's kind of how I look at it. And I love when we look at it. I'm glad he went with you first because this is tough. Like this one's real tough. But for me, I want BTJ everywhere I can get him.
Yeah.
And
the way I was looking at it is I think 205 and 201 are going to be super close. I think you're getting 2 firsts for Brian Thomas Jr. when he's probably worth maybe 102, 103. I would take Genty a million times out of a million over Brian Thomas Jr. I think he's going to score like 100 more fantasy points than him. Like he literally has 450 point upside if he gets drafted where we think he's going to get drafted. And it's not a slight on Brian Thomas Jr. Like he is an absolute stud wide receiver, but it's just, and you're getting the 108, like you said, that could be like Puka, Judkins, Henderson, one of those guys too. I just feel like it's a really good haul to get for BTJ if I'm going to sell him.
Yeah, and the difference there is I'm not saying I would trade Junty versus him. You're looking at equivalent. Yeah. Brian Thomas Jr. is worth more than the 102. He's in that 101 area. New guy from the Patreon. Love this one because this is actually Tay from the Patreon. He's the host of Tay and Todd Commanders podcast. Make sure you guys check out that show. I love when we get other content creators. We have multiple different podcast hosts. We have multiple different guys that are content creators in our Discord because it's not just about, following somebody else's lead. It's about being part of the community.
Before we jump into that one, Dad, we did have our 11th super chat of the night coming from Jackson Ryan. Let's jump into that real quick before we revisit that trade. So Jackson was asking, appreciate it, Jackson, first off. He was asking Bo Nix in a 26-second for the 101 and the 305.
Smash the 101.
This one I just saw in my actual chat with dads. This is the 101. Bo Nix.
That's a bang.
Like Bo Nix is the perfect quarterback to tier up to something like an Ashton Genty. Like this is Bo Nix. I think we saw a fantastic rookie season, but if I can get the 101 here, I'm doing it. And it's just it only costs you because Bo Nix in our Discord is worth the 104. So if it only costs you a 26-2 versus 305, woo! That is spicy. I love that one. That's a fantastic trade. Love that one for you, Jackson. Let's get back to the other one here that we had from our man Tay.
All right. So this one is going to be one side with Drake Maye, the 104, the 201, and a 26-second. And the other side is going to be the 101, the 102, Roschon Johnson. Don't know how he ended up in here. And a 26 third. So you're getting the first 2 picks, but you're chipping away the 104 Maye and the 201 with another second on the top of that one. So Snoog, what do we think on this one?
This one put my head through a tornado when I was helping him out in the Discord, and he dropped this in my chat as well. I'm not sure if he asked you as well, Dad, but it's so close and tough for me because like Genty and Drake Maye are going like back to back in startups in the same range. So it's pick your poison. Who would you prefer? The stud elite running back that I think the thing that worries me is what the hell are the Patriots going to do? Are they going to take care of business and do what they need to do to make Drake Maye take the next step? Or are they going to not pay anybody, do nothing, and be ass again, which they probably are going to do because it's the Patriots. But I hope that that's not the case, because if they get A.J. Brown, T. Higgins, one of those type of wide receivers, or draft Ted McMillan, some of these studs, Drake Maye is going to be a fringe first round startup pick heading into the following year. And then I'm getting 104 and 201 for the 102 and another second. So if you look at it from that, I love it. And if I'm rebuilding, I love it. But I'm probably going to lean the Drake Maye slide here. But it feels like it's a trade I just don't want to make.
I am taking the Drake Maye side fairly comfortably because I believe at the 104, like right now, if I need a quarterback, right? If I need a quarterback, I'm taking Maye here. And then at the 102 versus 104, unless Hampton goes to the Cowboys and all three of the other guys don't go, like tier 2 running back is so good in this class with Hampton, Judkins, Johnson, and Henderson. You're going to get one of those two guys. And now you're going from the 101 to, I think that 26 second, the other side. No, the 201 and 26 second are really starting to go there. Ed said, yo, you know what? I want a third spot on that wheel. Let's get another super chat. Said traded the 308 and took Rashee Rice. I got it in a live draft, traded 308. Guy took Rice. I got a 27 first, 27 second, 26 third, and the 812. Haven't picked yet. That's a smash. That's how you win your startups. I mean, Brock, you saw me do that firsthand, collecting 10, 20, 25 firsts. So it's going to be a fun thing. But
yeah,
I got 11 in the new one. So, that's
what I'm going to do. And I'm going to steal that strategy from you and smash 18. So don't get any ideas.
Hey, one spot left. And now, Snoog comes around every.
We got to get Brock in there.
Leagues.
Let's get Brock
in 15. I'm in 15.
Yeah, he'll come around every 15. Snoog's in every 9. We're going to celebrate every 9th Smash League. I'm just sitting here trying to fund the kids with all these extra leagues. But, people are like, I'm quitting a bunch of my regular leagues because I'm like, I got to be in these Smash Leagues, Megan. This is where it's at. We love playing.
I commission all my leagues, so things. I can't quit them.
Hey, we got one more trade here, and then actually 2 more trades if we can. Let's kind of quick hitter them. This next one's sexy, though. We can't quick hitter it.
All right, so we got a trade coming here from Shooty317 over from Patreon. Appreciate it, Shooty. We got one side with Bowers and a 27 first. The other side with Kraft, the 103, and the 107. Dad, does it even matter, tight end premium or not?
Shake that damn Bowers. Cowbell. Shake it.
None. I love Tucker Kraft, but in this particular trade,
it's a free 27 first.
It's a free 27 first. Like Bowers himself, I don't know if I'm not trading him. I'm not trading him. So 103, 107 Kraft, and I probably still wouldn't do it. Then you throw me a 27 first. If that was a 27 second, I'd still smash it. A 27 first,
ready?
Absolutely crushing.
I'm going to get you
Brock
excited,
Bowers.
Dad.
And Joe, that's a fantastic trade.
I'm going to get you excited. I'm going to get listeners excited. Picture Sam Darnold. No. That's gross. Picture Cam Ward.
What the heck?
I was getting excited here.
Sam Darnold.
Picture Cam Ward, Quinshon Judkins, and Brock Bowers with that play action, with that elite run game, with the young stud quarterback, and getting that play action rolling with Chip Kelly and Pete Carroll, 2 veteran coaches that have won national championships, won Super Bowls, and Brock Bowers is the main guy there because they're friggin' wide receiver 1 Jacoby Myers. That is a 400-point ceiling all day long for Brock Bowers.
Hey, we got another super chat, number 13.
Yeah, we got Crystal Catching Outdoors with the super chat. Hopefully you caught that fish there in the profile pic. So he says, send Lamb and get the 105 Zay and Pickens. So it sounds like he has CD. Should he trade CD for the 105 Zay and Pickens? We got some head shakes.
Not. I understand and we talk a lot about insulated trades, but we've been talking all offseason about tearing up from Flowers and Pickens. Unless this is a 16-teamer, I'm not touching this because I'm trying to tier up. So if you could get, I honestly think if I'm doing Lamb for London in the 105, sure, or Lamb for JSN in the 105, but I don't want Flowers and Pickens. Like these got to be different pieces. 105 Flowers and a 27 first, sure. But like, I don't want two assets that I don't trust.
I'm putting my dad thinking cap on right now. What if we could? I would go to every other owner before I accept this trade and say, I have Flower. I'm going to be getting Flowers and Pickens. Can I get Rashee Rice in a second? Can I get AJ Brown? Can I get like one of these guys off you before I do that? And then if I could, I would accept it and then do that trade too.
Yeah.
But if I can't get that, then I wouldn't do the trade.
We do the pre-cascaded trade, where you look at one, but like
start reaching out to everybody.
Try to trade. I mean, I've done 100 roster reviews through the Patreon, through the Discord, people all over the place. And when I say my sell list, I was like, sell Zay Flowers and Pickens. You can't. You just can't. Like, you're not going to get anything. Nobody, you float them out there and everybody's like, no, I don't want them. So maybe they're more of a buy than a sell, but Crystal catching outdoors, keep CD Lamb here, try to get JSN in the 105, then I'm back in, or make this Zay 105 and a 27 first. Then I would be in there as well. Like I think that's kind of more what we're looking for. You want to make sure when you insulate, you're getting something you trust. Like when we were trading Jaden Daniels to get Drake Maye plus, that's because Snoog and I think Drake Maye is going to be a stud. Last one, Brock, bring us home. And then Snoog, get the wheel ready, baby. 13.
I got the Snoop. I got the wheel pulled up if Casey doesn't. So we got trade 16 here from Yonert. We got one side with London, Maye, and Rome. Other side with the 102, the 106, the 107, Quentin Johnston, and Jordan Whittington. I know he's been in a few videos recently with Cup on the way out. But, Dad, which side do we like here? We got a few different firsts on one side.
Yeah.
Other side with London, Maye, and Rome.
Maye over the 102, London over the 106, Rome over the 107. And then you take these turd sandwiches like Whittington and Quentin Johnston and you polish them up real nice and you say, hey, I bet you'd love these guys. No, you get the three studs here. Guys, this has been a fun show.
That
this is
damn
the most fun
cowbell
I've had.
before I ring the wheel.
Dude, I'm 43 years old. I'm going to get arthritis if we keep doing the cowbell every time. All right, here it is. Let's go. All right, I'm starting to feel it in my elbow a little bit. It was a heavy bench press day. All right. So we have the board up here. We got 13 guys.
Let's go.
13 on there. Real quick.
12 guys and one female, baby.
Hey, if Snoog's girlfriend wins this, I don't know about this Dynasty three-way we're gonna have here talking about shop, but we'll respin the wheel. Here we go. Let's see what we got.
All right, let's go.
Good luck, everybody. Thank you for the support.
Wins. Good luck. Yeah, for sure. I'm feeling Ed. I think Ed's gonna win.
Yo,
Spock.
Oh, it's Spock. It's Spock. Live long and prosper, baby. Spock, we will reach out. Congrats. We will definitely
reach out to us on Twitter.
We'll be doing Twitter or YouTube. We love doing these kind of things. Tomorrow, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do a similar type thing with our mock drafts. I'm excited for our first mock draft after the combine. If you guys don't already subscribe, make sure you guys do. Like, we are putting out a Tuesday and a Wednesday show. Snoog and I are out there. Like, we love the comments. I'm literally answering all the comments. Everything I see on there, we're definitely kind of giving that. The amount of comments that we've got on the show, on the live, I wish we could get to more. We usually try to keep these shows, in that 45-minute range. We went to an hour because you guys kept cranking. So we really appreciate all the love, all the support. So thanks for tuning in, guys, and enjoy the process.